Because the goal is for us not to have to come back to vote on something. So the question and how we word this is critical. So if we keep the action item says the cancel of the city council meeting for April 22nd due to early voting. And so if we kept the city council meeting for April 22nd, but moved to Prairie University on the second floor in the Senate chambers due to early voting at the same time, 6 p.m. When we change the location, we just have to, just like the 72-hour posting, we just not notify.
Just the same. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend, doing whatever you can to let folks know the location has changed. But legally, the only thing would be required is that we post it properly on that 72-hour notice.
And so, I guess the last question, if we keep it as our regular meeting, which it is that day and time, does that change that, or will we have to say special meeting?
No, sir. And it could, even if you moved it to a different date, it would just be a postponement of your regular meeting, so it would still just be a regular meeting.
Let me see if I can remember all this. Mr. Mayor? Council? All right, so this is the third. Can we kill the...
Well, you just kill, why don't you just have a vote on your first one and have it fail?
Call for the question. All those in favor say aye. Opposed have the same right?
Opposed? All right.
Opposed have it.
So the first motion.
First one's
all right.
died.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Councilman?
I move that we move our regular city council meeting for April 22nd at 6 p.m. due to early voting at Prairie University in the Senate chambers on the second floor.
It's been probably moved and seconded that the city council meeting for April 22nd be moved to Prairie University Student Senate chambers on the second floor at 6 p.m. You've heard the motion, ready for the questions?
I just have an unreadiness.
Yes.
Behind this, so this kind of happened to us before. Behind the scenes, who's gonna, we gotta make sure, Ms. Johnson is gonna post everything, and then we gotta make sure that, like the ADA or something like that. We just wanna make sure that gets done. Because they have the elevators and stuff, so we should be good.
Yeah, just concerned about the only unreadiness I have is just the concern about the parking, the physical parking around that time with so many students, dining hall and things like that. Yeah, citizens access.
Citizens access to parking or to the building?
To parking primarily. Yeah, parking just gets full.
I could schedule a meeting tomorrow to talk to Frank about holding off the, coordinate office, so that way only the citizens will be able to park at the time of our meeting rather than students.
Okay, great. And Councilman Jones, if you don't mind, because you're very familiar with it, would you mind getting the specific detailed wording to Ms. Johnson so it can be posted correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other unreadiness? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right? One opposed, ayes have it. Item 8, discussion on Mayor Allen's response in reference to the internal review memo by CPA Erskine Payne. Well, this is, a repeat, it might have just been carried over in error.
Yeah. This is
We'll skip it.
Yeah, well, this was put on because it says in the minutes, because we were talking about, I'll just skip it now, we're good.
Item 9, discussion and possible action on rescinding moratorium on certificates of occupancy, building official, and council. The clarification is, City Council already approved Bureau Veritas as the building official.
Yes, sir.
So Bureau Veritas is directly involved with the certificates of occupancy. Does that automatically kill the moratorium, or what is it?
I was thinking
conflicting.
I can't remember, I didn't go back and look and see what the exact motion was, back when y'all made a motion to place a moratorium. I can't remember if it was
It was what-
until we hire a building official. If that was the motion, then the moratorium went away when you hired a building official.
And
I just can't remember what the motion was.
that's what the motion was.
Then this is unnecessary.
Well, I guess my question on this issue, because we're all guessing, and since this is on the agenda, we should have had the information. I know we had at this last meeting that you weren't at, Mr. Zach. At our last meeting, we had a conversation around the building official, and we had a conversation around how much it was gonna cost. The mayor sent out an email with the cost for Vera Veritas for the 2 days a month, or whatever, it was like $5,500. We were supposed to identify where
Two days a week, 4 hours a day.
2 days a week for our, right, but my question is, we're supposed to have that conversation around how can we afford and where we're gonna pay for it. That's why I was asked to be put on the agenda, because we needed specifics. And Mr. Mayor, if that is the case, if Vera Veritas is our official building, at the last meeting, you know, we were up in limbo, and you know, you were with us, and so can you now give us some information moving forward on what our process is gonna be here moving forward, since if they are a building official, what's the cost to citizens who put in a permit, and how are we gonna use that to offset the cost for them, because that is a separate cost, and then we don't get additional revenue as far as a building official doesn't generate revenue, which means that 5,500. So we were supposed to set up a scale on what the cost of these things were. So that's what this meeting was for.
And we can also amend your fee schedule to incorporate that cost, so that the persons who are requesting the certificates of occupancy are actually paying the cost associated with, so you can recoup those costs.
Yeah, we recoup those costs.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's two processes, right?
yeah, what is being discussed is not included. Council is talking about adding it so it's included. Right now, it's not included because it wasn't there. See, we're talking about paying for someone that we didn't have before, and we weren't recouping this 5,000. I mean, we didn't have that extra coming in from the process.
Okay.
Our certificates
Can
of
I ask a question?
occupancy and
What's the
things like that are very
5,000?
minimal.
What's the 5,000?
The 5,000 is 5,000 plus. That's Bureau Veritas' proposed building official fee for 2 hours, 2 days a week, 4 hours a day,
Okay.
would be over 5,000 a month.
I didn't know about that.
See, I forwarded it to council, and I probably should have sent it to you as well. I just wanted to make sure I shared with council what Bureau Veritas has shared with me, because we didn't have that information at the prior meeting. But I agree with everyone, including council, we need to go back. And the other thing is, council is working with them on how that amendment affects the current contract, or to include or add that amendment. But again, before just acting on it, at $5,000, it wasn't in the budget, and how we were gonna recoup it, I didn't wanna just make those decisions, so I shared that and brought it back to council, and that's where we are now, to see how and where we wanna go forward. Councilman?
Mr. Mayor, I'm a little on this agenda was supposed to be something that we asked to be on this agenda, was to have the conversation. Vera Veritas was supposed to present tonight their process on what we're talking about, what was supposed to get the information from them being here, presenting, giving us all the information on what they're gonna do, and then we'll be able to make a decision on this item that we have on the agenda. This is why we asked it to be moved from the last meeting to this meeting. And so we're missing the first part, which was Vera Veritas. The only thing that we were required to do is, if you had any additional questions outside of learning of them communicating the process, if we had specific questions, then we were supposed to email. But they should have been on the agenda to discuss exactly everything that we are trying to figure out right now.
No, that's not true. What was discussed, Bureau Veritas was actually here previously. They shared exactly what they would do. They answered every council question. Ms. Rogers simply did not have the cost of what that would take, and she said she had to get with her boss, Greg, to get the details. She emailed me those details. I emailed them to council. Council never requested Bureau Veritas to come back and explain what they explained previously. You just simply wanted to know how much it was gonna cost. And that information I emailed to you all as soon as I received it from them.
Again,
So do we have a building official?
I'm sorry? Yeah, you have a building official, you do.
So if there's no argument on,
Yeah, if the motion was, and I think you're correct, Councilmember, that the motion, upon reflection, that the motion was to place a moratorium until you hired a building official. Y'all did hire a building official, which means you don't have a moratorium anymore, which means this is not
The
necessary.
question is, how can we spend $5,500 on something that we didn't approve? And so, just to simply say that, again, I caution all of us to make sure we're connecting the dots. Ms. Rogers was here at the last meeting. We asked her specific questions. She said, I don't know the specifics. That's why we asked for Bureau Veritas to be on this agenda, so they were going to be able to walk not only city council, but every citizen who wanted to know what the building official was going to be doing at this meeting. That's simple. We all agreed on that. That's not on the agenda. That was supposed to give us clarity for us to say we are trust the process and we're now lifting the moratorium. If we're saying that we automatically have Bureau Veritas, which the mayor should know, that means that we have to pay them. So the question is where we, because we don't see the budget or what's being spent as of up to date, where's the money coming from to pay them?
Let me answer that. The only question Ms. Rogers was unable to answer was how much it would cost to add this to the existing contract. She shared with us examples of what she does at other places, but council, in getting back to, because I totally agree with Councilman Jones, number 9 seems to be a moot issue until it's clarified or there's something else, because discussing their fees and that sort of thing is not a part of item 9.
My preference would be that y'all lift this, just because it's on the agenda, vote to lift it. I don't think you have to, but a belt and suspenders approach would make me happy. To the valid point of Councilmember Rowland with respect to funding, I'm not a finance person, and I'm not the city manager, and I'm not the finance director. But from a normal perspective, I assume that there is a budget out there that is has to do with inspections and building the issues that's in the budget, and that there's a line item there, and that there's probably funding available in the budget in that group of budgets that can pay for it in the short term. In the long term, we can bring back an ordinance that amends your fee schedule to incorporate the additional cost associated with this service into the permit fee schedule. That's a possible approach. Am I wrong on that?
You're correct. We do have a line item. We have funds there. We can adjust the fee schedule to include that in the fees that you charge to recoup.
So it's just a pass-through.
Right.
Can we make sure that that item's on the next?
I have written a note to myself.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what's council's pleasure on item 9 then with that information? He's asking it to be.
I'm actually requesting that you please vote to rescind it, just as a belt and suspenders.
that would,
Oh, to rescind item 9.
oh, to this meeting?
No, just to rescind it.
Motion to rescind the moratorium. Motion to approve item 9.
Because like you said, it's already been done.
Right, but it doesn't hurt to go ahead and vote on it.
Sure.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Wallace.
I move that we rescind the moratorium on the certificates of occupancy.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that council rescind the moratorium on certificates of occupancy. You've heard the motion, ready for the questions? All those in favor? On readiness, Councilman Jones?
Yes, since we do have the building official, could we, next meeting, have a report upon, like them going back and looking at projects and all of that kind of stuff, how they're assisting us, or what's their plan to move forward assisting us?
Any other readiness?
Call for question.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same right.
Aye.
And one opposition, and Council Randall?
That was me.
No, I just wanted to, do a roll call vote, just to be, so the record's clear. Council Randall's for, Councilman Jones?
Yes, sir.
For, Councilman Wallace? For. Okay, motion passed. Item 10, discussion on
Not
220.
necessary.
Pardon?
It's not necessary.
Well, I wasn't clear. So
Okay, I'm telling you right now, it's not necessary. We don't have the discussion on it. They now have authority to issue a C of O. The
Okay,
moratorium's been lifted.
gotcha. Discussion on 224 Oak Street certificate of, it's not necessary, I'm
Not
sorry.
necessary.
That one.
It is,
Item 11,
number 10 is on the agenda. How is that unnecessary?
Because we had a moratorium in place.
Okay,
So we
so-
had to get authority from city council to issue the C of O. We've lifted the moratorium. Now the bidding official, assuming they've complied with all the legal requirements, can issue the
Yes,
C
but
of O.
so you weren't at the last meeting.
No.
And at the last, I don't think she updated you on the last meeting. We have about 12 citizens from that community that voiced opposition.
Doesn't matter.
I understand, I'm trying to get to the point.
Okay, my
The
apologies.
point is, the lifting of the COs or the having the building official, that gives us the right to issue the CO. But they were being told that application this and application that. So number 10, which was brought back because of that reason, we're saying that if Bureau Veritas says that they've passed the whatever inspection, it's a shall and a must.
I'm sorry, it's
A
what?
shall and a must.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Oh,
So, for clarification purposes, there's nothing that the city council can do to deny
no, sir.
that.
Now, let me, and I thank you for your point. Here, the building, the International Building Code, which y'all have adopted, which all cities have adopted, says that if they comply with the requirements of the building code, they are entitled to a building permit, a certificate of occupancy. City council does not have any authority short of amending the building code to change the requirements, which I would not at all recommend doing without input from a qualified building official, that they are entitled to their certificate of occupancy. City council does not have any authority over that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I apologize for interrupting earlier.
11, discussion and possible action on the $5,000 street plan. Councilman Jones.
So at the back of the university, going out of phase 3, by the, at the back of phase 3, there's been a bridge, that we was a part of the lawsuit, as well as the county, that's been broke for about 5 years. And so I scheduled a meeting, with the county judge to see how could we get a plan going to fix this bridge. He said that he had put the plan together, previously, but it had fell through upon our end. And so, me being elected as the city council, I thought that this would be a great initiative moving forward to get the bridge fixed, and as well as the university saying that they'll take ownership of the bridge, with all 3 entities putting $5,000 into the bridge. We can't have a vote if he leaves, right?
We got
You have 3.
All right, I'm just making sure.
Yes, sir, you have 3.
All right, but, yes, sir, so I want to allocate that we give $5,000 to the university to fix the bridge,
Is it
the street maintenance.
Is it a publicly owned street?
No, it's not within the city's limits. There was a lawsuit subsequently settled that we may need to go into executive session to discuss.
The lawsuit has
Well,
been,
was the city involved in the lawsuit?
Yes,
Is the lawsuit over?
I don't know. We were settled out and
Yes.
yeah, I need to discuss that with you.
Well, I don't have any knowledge about the lawsuit. We would need to bring the lawyers in who are involved in the lawsuit, because I have zero knowledge of this. I can tell you this, that you can't spend public funds on a private street.
it's not private,
Well, it's not within the city limits.
it's right in our city limits.
Isn't it in our
It's
ETJ?
ETJ.
I don't have enough information to know whether or not it's an appropriate expenditure.
So,
Councilman? Roland?
So you're saying with the letters we have here, you're saying that the university said they're gonna take ownership. They're asking all three entities to put in $5,000. So we would need a resolution, from all three entities saying that they would put up the $5,000. We couldn't just give the 5,000, so there's supposed to be a letter or resolution, if the city was gonna do that. So Waller County would have to approve the 5,000, university would have to put on their letterhead the 5,000, and that they're gonna take the bridge.
And my preference would be an interlocal agreement
Yeah, I
that
was about to
says,
say,
Yeah, we could do an interlocal agreement, but if you look at Judge Duhan
I don't have any of this. Is this in the packet?
report,
I don't have any of this information.
he says, I recently spoke with Dr. Finley. Now that the lawsuit is concluded, I indicated to him that Waller County would be willing to re-engage with PVMU and the city of PV towards a joint effort to fix the bridge. He indicated that PVMU would be willing to assist and that they would take responsibility for the maintenance of the bridge and going forward. I would like that the partners, we could do an interlocal agreement under our primary interlocal where we could help out the bridge repairs if PVMU and PV chips in. But it does not need to be spelled out as to be obligations going forward.
I would recommend that we have an
interlocal to
agreement.
vote on?
I would recommend that we enter into an agreement that spells out everybody's obligations and what the payment is for, and who's gonna take care of what based on the payment before we agree.
Councilman Roland?
I move that this item be placed on the next agenda, with the subsequent language for the interlocal agreement,
And I can get with Councilman.
in reference to, allocating $5,000 for the street, from the street maintenance budget, for this particular plan.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that item 11, discussion and possible action on a $5,000 street plan be placed onto the next agenda with the corresponding interlocal agreement.
And then if Councilmember Jones, if you wouldn't mind reaching out to me at your earliest convenience, and we could.
Yes, sir, I'll do that tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You've heard the motion, ready for the question?
You're gonna get the,
Yeah, I'll hit him up in the morning. Me and Dr. Finley want to talk later on tonight. And so I'll start an email chain so that way Attorney Z can make sure that everything is in line.
thank you.
Any other readiness? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed have the same right? Ayes have it, let the record show it's unanimous. And you did note that Councilwoman Williams and Councilman Randall left the meeting, right?
I wasn't sure if she was leaving or just.
Yeah, you can go ahead and note it. Okay, item
13.
13, discuss and take action on the U.S. Department of Commerce grant. The only thing I want to update council on regarding this is really what I touched on earlier, the fact that we don't have the posting required to get public management in to assist with us, that hopefully I can do something to try to pull it together, because it's got to be submitted at the end of the month, specifically May 1st. So that's just the update on the status of it, so that you have that information for your records. If you or anyone knows someone who's into grant writing, please let me know. Request by mayor and council members that items be placed on the future city council agenda. We can send any additional.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman?
He was first.
Councilman Wallace?
I have, okay, so first, a city strategic plan. The second an interlocal agreement with Waller County for streets. Yeah, for streets.
You ready to pass it?
And, for city secretary.
Councilman Rowland?
Mr. Mayor, I ask that we bring agenda item number 3 back on the agenda, which was to update an ordinance for developmental reports to be placed on city council agenda, and I will get with Attorney Zach.
Yes, sir, and I think that you and I may be able to just, I don't know if we'll need an ordinance, but we can, so if you and I can get together sometime between now and the next meeting, I'll make sure she gets language necessary, or we may be able to just, you and I figure out how we can get this just on the agenda.
The difference in the ordinance is the way it should.
Okay, so you
must-
prefer an ordinance?
I'm just asking, is it so if we adopt an ordinance that says we have to have these different reports, that's a must and a shall, correct?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Well, but if it violates the,
No, we can,
Open Meetings Act.
I'll figure that out.
Okay.
I mean, I think that there's a, look,
Yeah.
if.
I'm just saying it's not automatic if
No,
it's a violation.
No,
of state
but we
law.
can make sure it gets posted in the proper manner.
Okay,
Thank you.
good enough.
My
Anything
sixth,
else?
I want to discuss and take possible action on an ordinance for permits on clearing land in Prairie. I think that was another item that we talked about.
Haven't
So making sure that's on the agenda. And then my third is to discuss and take possible action on a resolution of the city of Prairie View, Texas, in opposition to revenue caps and is legislative interference with local services, which is House Bill 2 and Senate Bill 2.
And you'll get with either attorney.
Yes,
with
we've
information.
started already.
Okay. Councilman Jones?
My item,
I would like to discuss, consider and take action on giving our senior citizens a property tax break.
Okay, anything else?
Yes. We were supposed to have a meeting at 5 o'clock today for the city charter. I'm not sure, I think we had it scheduled for 5 o'clock. I don't know if we would want to put it on the agenda, or we have to figure out how we're going to dissolve that issue. Is the reason why it didn't get, do you know?
Just got overlooked, I guess.
It was in the minutes, but
You wanna put it on for 5 o'clock for the next meeting?
I don't know what the resolution, I just know that we missed it, so.
Could we put that for the 5 o'clock for our following city council meeting after the next one? So that'd be the May 15th,
Or not, it's the 13th.
it's the 13th or 15th?
Okay, anything else?
Pulling out the calendar.
13.
May 13th. May 13th. Okay, any other items? Motion?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.